since the preseason. Got the Duke Virginia Tech side and the total up for Friday night. Baseball will resume come playoff time. You know, and I'll take a look. I guess there's a possibility you could have some baseball on Friday. I doubt it. But big weekend up as well at offshoreinsiders.com. All right, now here is a preview of your Friday night games, including Duke and Virginia Tech. And by the way, we'll have some sharp information at joeduffy.net on all these games, betting patterns, and whatnot. In fact, why don't we actually take a look at some of the betting patterns on this. Duke and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is -3, a total of 53. This is after opening up at -2 and 53.5. 53% of the bets are on Duke, 65% of the money. The public also liking the under, 61% of the bets and 78% of the money are on the under. Now for some critical gambling information on this contest. Duke's Quentin Harris, he's done pretty well. He's replacing Daniel Jones. We all know about Daniel Jones and how that was a controversial pick, but one of the great quarterbacks in the history of Duke, and they haven't missed a beat as of yet. His offensive line has been very good. Now both teams are off of a bye. Our experience, as a general rule of thumb, says the bye benefits teams that truly need a bye. When when you have a unit that's overachieving, maybe it's not necessarily a good thing. So Duke's deep passing game has really been a pleasant surprise, but the running game not as good as expected. They've scored 86 points the last 2 games. Duke has won 12 straight games without an interception, but that should change here. Might need to change for them to get the win. As quarterback Ryan Willis has thrown 4 interceptions for Virginia Tech. The senior, talk about underachieving. He ranks 105th nationally in passing, certainly considered to be a better quarterback than that. Virginia Tech already with 10 sacks, so they're going to test to see if Duke's improved offensive line is really as improved as they look. Are they really the real thing? We're going to find out for sure. Virginia Tech with the 3rd worst margin of cover in the country at -14.8. They're 0-3 against the spread. Margin of cover, some other people like to refer to it as the sweat barometer, but again, it's how much a team is covering the spread by or not covering the spread by on average. Now let's go to Penn State and Maryland. Penn State laying 6.5, a total of 62. As we got a discrepancy here between the money and the total bets. 52% of bets are on Penn State, but yet 59% of the money is on Maryland. But even the 52% for a pretty big road favorite is kind of a small percentage. The public generally likes betting road favorites, especially if they're laying like more than 3.5. And we do have 78% of the bets and 73% of the money are on the over in this contest. And speaking of betting it, you can get a $1,000 sign-up bonus if you use the promo code Duffy at mybookie.ag. That is Duffy. Both teams have very good running games. Maryland gets 6 yards per rush to teams that normally allow just 5.1, led by Anthony McFarland, who had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. Meanwhile, Penn State, they're very deep at the running game. Multi-heads, they're getting 5.7 yards per rush to teams that normally allow just 4.4. Frankly, probably not applicable here. Why am I mentioning it? Well, just keep it in mind. James Franklin, Penn State coach, he loves to run up the score. Again, will be much more important when they're laying, 21 points than when they're laying 6. One of our bubble burst angles, teams off of their first loss of the year, if they were ranked 21st or better at the time, are a go against of 258, 205-5. That would say to fade Maryland and go with Penn State. Penn State minus the 6. San Jose State and Air Force. Air Force is off of the loss, which sets up a nice bubble burst offshoot. When a team had more wins than the odds makers expected, that is, if they had won all their games a favorite, lost all their games as an underdog, their record's back better than that. But if they're also off of their first loss, they're a go against a 417, 320, and 16. That benefits San Jose State plus the 19. Arizona State and California. When the total is significantly less than the average of each team's last game, goes under 373, 246, and 15. Yeah, we use the odds makers against them quite often, and that's a good example. Off of 3 straight low-scoring games, Arizona State is off a 65-point game. Teams with at least 3 wins and off of the first loss or go against a 438, at 480, that is, 386 and 16. That says to go with California. ASU with 7 true freshmen. ASU with true freshmen Jaden Daniels and 2 true freshmen on the offensive line, a work in progress. They did allow 10 sacks for the first 3 weeks, but just 1 last week. Now, are they truly improved? Should we expect some inconsistency? The metrics here say California. So again, your free picks, California, San Jose State, and Penn State. Visit offshoreinsiders.com for the most thoroughly vetted sports books, as well as the best sports selections from handicappers who have been winning since the 1980s.